Championship contender Alexander Rossi in that yellow and blue Honda, the Napa car. Troubles on the opening lap. There was smoke from the right front. He's got damage on that front wing, and he is ailing.
He had contact, I think, with his teammate. He takes the shortcut to avoid the traffic, but I think he had contact in turn one with Marco Andretti and hit the outside wall. Front wing is damaged, Townsend, and a flat tire.
Total disaster for Alexander Rossi. Here it is. That's Marco Andretti in front. Going into turn one, Andretti checks up. Rossi straight into the back, and to the back of the field. He'll have to come to pit lane.
Everybody was checking up as you go up the hill at accordions. Everybody now is starting to get on the brakes. He makes contact with Andretti's tire, and now he is in big time trouble.
The story could not be any worse for Alexander Rossi coming into this championship finale, second in the points, challenging Scott Dixon. He hits his teammate and now is struggling to get back to pit lane.
And he's going to struggle to get to the left-hand side of the track at pit lane entrance as the field's coming through. Rossi works his way over. If he can get the wing changed, he can stay on the lead lap. He took the shortcut. Smart move. He'll probably be able to get out without losing a lap, but still it's a disaster.
He's taken all the shortcuts around the track. He might have to serve a drive-through as well for taking those shortcuts, Kevin.
Oh, here he comes, and this is also going to waste the sticker set of alternate red, faster, stickier tires that he has. They've got another set of scuff reds, but that's the least of their concerns right now. They'll be able to stay on the lead lap, but going from 6th all the way to the back, Rossi hits his mark. They'll change the front wing assembly, they'll change tires, and then Rob Edwards told him, just get back to the program. No anger, no any kind of anxiety in his voice. As always, Alexander Rossi calm, but the championship in the opening corner takes a major twist.
This crew, this Napa crew's got to do it very quickly here. They've got to get the front wing on and get him back out. If he goes a lap down, that'll be it. Luckily, he's all right. He'll get back out with about 20 seconds in front of the field as Hunter-Reay leads them on lap 1.
Well, we're going to wait and see if he took those shortcuts. He took 3 shortcuts around the track. He could get a drive-through penalty.
But Paul, they talked about this in the drivers' meeting. They said if you don't gain a time advantage and you're forced to do it, which he was, there will be no penalty. I don't expect it for Rossi as Hunter-Reay takes him back to finish the first lap with a decent lead over Scott Dixon.
And it is the DXC machine of Simon Pagenaud. Katie?
And Simon Pagenaud told me he's feeling confident for the first time on road courses this season. Remember, he won last year on a 4-stop strategy. It looks like he's going that way again, guys.
And it's the same lap that he stopped last year as well to make his first stop. So perhaps they're trying to work on that same plan as Spencer Piggott is in for Ed Carpenter Racing. Casey Kane, special guest of Ed Carpenter Racing this weekend, enjoying an Indycar experience, and maybe, just maybe, we might see Casey in an Indianapolis 500 in the not too distant future.
Here we got Pat O'Ward. He goes wide through the dirt. This stack of drivers behind him, 92 wins between all these 5 drivers. They go 3 wide into the hairpin, and then watch Power. He wheel bangs with Rahal. O'Ward sideways off the corner, and now it's a drag race on the drag strip.
And guys, he is livid over the radio right now, telling the team, I cannot hold on to this thing, but his strategist telling him, hang on, buddy, we need you to go 8 more laps. Pato, though, he wants to come in right now.
I think that's your welcome to IndyCar moment for Pato O'Ward. Your tires are fried, you've burned them up early. As you see Veach come to pit lane along with Hinchcliffe. Now all these drivers opting to come in at their really the earliest window, along with Simon Pagenaud there in Team Penske. I like Team Penske splitting the strategies with Pagenaud.
He's learning the art of saving the tires and saving the fuel, as some of these other guys right here, like Hinchcliffe, are going off strategy.
Do you think O'Ward can last another 8 laps on those tires?
About to find out. He puts on brand new sticker blacks. Sorry, that's Colton Herta, his teammate, in the 88 with sticker blacks.
This is Brian Herta's son, who had a really terrific season in Indy Lights. He had 4 victories. So Zach Veach and James Hinchcliffe released at the same time. A lot further down pit road than Colton Herta, and they're back out and at it. Meanwhile, this is the race leader. Ryan Hunter-Reay has a 3.5-second lead over Scott Dixon. Joseph Newgarden runs 3rd ahead of Marco Andretti and Will Power. That wild exchange that you saw a little earlier.
Newgarden stalking the back of Dixon there in the background. Hunter-Reay with a nice healthy lead here, almost 4 seconds. and he's just cruising along, saving his tires. That's the veteran right here. He knows exactly how to get it done, Townsend.
Well, I think in this part of the tire stint, Paul, you really get to see the dominance of that DHL Honda that they've shown all weekend. They've been quickest in practice sessions, fastest qualifying car, and it just feels like Hunter-Reay's had that extra little bit. It's nice to see it translate into race pace, and Jan Graham Rahal now comes to pit lane. He's an early diver.
Yes, and those who pit early most likely will be for stopping, but the order of tires will be important. He is going with a scrub set of alternates, the red sidewall, so he's going red to red at this point. That tire choice, Katie, will be pivotal.
Pato O'Ward lost 5 positions. You see him pulling off pit lane there. He lost 5 positions because he could not hold on to the car he pitted when the team wanted.
So there we go. That question was answered when I asked you a little while ago. Could he go another 8? The answer is no.
Well, he lost a couple more in the pits because Kanaan was behind him on track. They beat him in the pit stop, but we see him now leave on cold tires for his first time ever on cold tires and full fuel. Pagano on fresh tires just set fastest lap of the race.
Well, there's another important lesson for O'Ward. The outlaps and the inlaps, you see Hinch and Veach, who have already pitted, along with Piggott going zipping by. So we'll have to see where O'Ward cycles through, but several more positions lost in the pit stop sequence.
And at the head of this queue is the ABC Supply AJ Foyt racing car of Tony Kanaan. TK, the IndyCar legend, today is celebrating his 300th consecutive start. Tony, from all of us, congratulations. Whoa. What an achievement.
Somebody off in the dirt there. Might have been
Veach.
Veach.
Oh, no, Hinch.
Nice move here. Oh, he gets locked up almost into the back of Kanaan. Piggott's going to get a run on the reds. He's on reds, so he might have a tire grip advantage on these two guys that are on blacks. Oh, somebody's got a blown motor. Sato. That's a big blow up.
The Portland race winner had just pitted.
Have to see if a yellow comes out. If you're Alexander Rossi, you're praying for yellow right now.
Need a fire extinguishers ready.
Hear them calling for fire extinguishers because that is a ton of oil blowing out the back of that number 30 car. See if it lights off as they come to the box. I got to think there's a lot of oil on the track right now, Paul.
Yeah, it could have been a turbo issue. A lot of oil in the turbo. There's a little flame coming out of the back. It's all shut off, but they're not going yellow. In this series, the chief steward has not been keen on throwing yellow, so he's going to let these guys run. As we look at it again here.
The RLL team just calling for calm. Let's take a look at it. Scott Dixon, championship leader, is in the pits for his first stop of the day. Has been running second since the start. And Jan is there.
And again, let's talk about tire choice. We see Ryan Hunter-Reay flash by. Here comes Scott Dixon. He's going with a sticker set of primaries. That's the black sidewall Firestone. We are looking to see if there's going to be any changes. Nothing at all for Scott Dixon. And off he goes.
A wild day in Vegas. What a way to kick off the Monster Energy NASCAR Cup Series playoffs. 1 down, 9 to go as we welcome you back to Sonoma Raceway. Championship leader Scott Dixon has just executed his first pit stop of this race, which has seen his closest championship challenger Alexander Rossi on the back foot almost since the drop of the green when he collided with his teammate Marco Andretti and had damage to his front wing, limped back to the pits, and here he is here. Rossi is on attack mode now. He's in 20th position and trying to make up ground. Kev?
And obviously they've got to do something very extreme to get back in this. Now, Rob Edwards had told him we're sticking to plan A. However, he just told him, and keep in mind, they could be speaking in code for when they're going to stop, and he said we're halfway, meaning they wouldn't stop till around lap 30 or so. So that could put them in a position where, other than the early stop on lap 2, they could be doing it in just 2 more stops. So don't totally count out Alexander Rossi yet, Katie.
They need to, pretty soon decide, are we going to stick with this because they're 54 seconds behind Dixon, effectively 25 seconds ahead of, Hunter-Reay from being lapped. That's the critical thing. They can't go a lap down.
It is 5 to 6 seconds better than where he was before. He was a full minute behind.
That's true.
So there is some light at the end of the tunnel, but not quite going to the way that Alexander Rossi wanted it to go. So he's called to the pit by Rob Edwards, his strategist.
rear locking getting into the pits, so got the brake bias dialed to the back.
So Alexander Rossi comes in for effectively stop number 2, but really stop number 1 on their strategy. And right after that big slide, he did radio in about 20 seconds later and said, the tires are done. I think this is a lap or 2 earlier than they really wanted to go. So it is going to be challenging to make it on one more stop. A yellow to save some fuel would significantly help them. Changing to primary blacks, he said he wanted no changes, and a good stop. Rossi is back out.
And I know that many of you out there have been wanting more information on the Robert Wickens situation. There have been numerous press releases and statements by the team and by the family through the team as to the extent of Robert's injuries and his recovery and rehab. Robert, we know that you are watching from your hospital bed. From all of us, we send you all of our best wishes and a big hello. But if you haven't checked social media this afternoon, Robert himself posted a video, and it was terrific to see him.
Hey everybody, I just wanted to take the time to send you guys a quick note. It's obviously been a long time since I've posted anything on social media, but I just wanted to say that all of your kind words and all of your positivity has meant the absolute world to me and my family. I'm in rehab now, trying to get back to 100% as quickly as possible, but I don't know what the future holds for me. It's going to be a very long road to recovery, and all I can say is I can promise you guys that I'm going to work as hard as possible and train as hard as possible to make sure I'm back in a race car as quickly as possible. And that's all I can say for now. And I just want to say good luck to everyone in Sonoma this weekend. I'm going to be watching from my TV here, and just good luck, everybody.
Well, Robert, on behalf of all of your fans and all of the Indycar fans around the world, your DTM fans in Europe, thank you for posting that, because it was terrific to see you, and you've got all of us on board pushing you along in your recovery, and we'll try and make it as speedy as possible. So we're wishing you well, mate, and thanks again for doing that.
This is interesting. Alexander Rossi all over the back of Dixon here, and I think, Paul, that Rossi's totally bailed out on the 2-stop, meaning he's going to have to stop 2 more times, and he's going to try to mix it up with Dixon and see if he can cause Dixon to maybe push harder or force his way by. Kevin, what do you know?
He is trying to get by me. You see him take a little look there. I haven't heard that they totally abandoned it, but it makes sense. I agree with you, because they said as soon as he pitted, you've got to push, you've got to get in front of Scott Dixon, you've also got to get in front of Ryan Hunter-Reay, and then we need to hope for a yellow. Jan?
And speaking of Ryan Hunter-Reay and Scott Dixon, something interesting happened a few moments ago. One of Ryan Hunter-Reay's crew came down here into the Dixon pit to look at these tires and to look over. Well, what are you looking for? Well, Scott Dixon has a sticker set of blacks. He has some scrub reds, but he also has a sticker set of reds that they have ready to go on at the next stop. So a little bit of gamesmanship for the Andretti team, saying, hey, I wonder what our main competition is doing behind us so we can play the strategy just right.
Well, Townsend, if I was Scott Dixon, I would pull over and just let him go by. There's no reason to fight with him. He's a lap down to you, and I think that Rossi has been a cat on a hot tin roof this weekend. He's sketchy, and just looking at him, if he locks up and gets into the back of Scott and spins him and stalls him,
I totally disagree.
Think about that.
If you're Scott Dixon, if you let Rossi by and a yellow comes out,
give him an opportunity.
You give him an opportunity to get back in this race. Scott Dixon has his thumb on Rossi right now, and he's not going to let go. Dixon had a moment there. Dixon had a big power down moment. Rossi had a run. Now look at push to pass, though. Rossi has used up over 50 seconds, and Dixon about the same. Rossi with 97 seconds left and Dixon with 92. We're on board with Dixon. Listen. There's a lot of rear wheel spin. Rossi with a good exit. I'm not going to say Dixon gave him the corner.
He laid out way early.
Please.
I don't think he wanted the danger or the drama of having to deal with that, as we see. Newgarden, Katie.
Well, remember, he stalled it on that first pit stop. We'll see if it can be a clean one for him today. He is also going to those Firestone Blacks in a big wing change. He gets down in 6.3 seconds, Lee.
That was a lot more efficient than the first one, wasn't it, with that unfortunate stall, as we're creeping ever so close, kind of towards the halfway mark of the Grand Prix of Sonoma. Because there is Scott Dixon just at the top. Scott Dixon has lost a lot of time. He's caught up in traffic. Last time by, it was less than a second, but Dixon was having difficulty with traffic as Ryan Hunter-Reay, the race leader, who has led 35 laps today so far. It's been a really productive season finale for RHR.
So you saw Ryan Hunter-Reay not willing to give up the lead right there, and that's because he was getting ready to pit. And Rob Edwards said, well, that wasn't what we discussed, but that was the situation there. Edwards, by the way, told Rossi to continue pushing. Really good stop for Ryan Hunter-Reay, Jan.
And it's a good stop for Scott Dixon as well, but there's one major difference. He got his Sunoco fuel, but he went with red, brand new red sticker, so he's going opposite to Ryan Hunter-Reay. Kevin?
So Will Power comes in. He'll get Firestones and Sunoco fuel as well. He goes from the red sidewalls to the primary blacks. And that's a strong stop for Will Power, who still for now is in the championship mix if Dixon and Rossi both go out and don't finish in the top 21.
And Roger Penske, who's celebrating something special today, Robin Miller.
You know what? A typical Penske fashion, he's already got the 500 hat on, boys. Congratulations on your 500 victory. Think about how it all started, RP, with Mark Donohue.
Well, I'll tell you, first, an incredible effort by so many drivers and so many people that worked for us over the years, and Brad and Joey and Blaney today. I mean, I can't believe it, but that first Indy win in '72 with Donohue kind of kicked us off, but it's been a team effort. All the sponsors, the manufacturers that have worked so well with us, and I think I'm standing here again, not where we're making all the heads. Quite a day.
You know, when you think about how this thing started, and you came to Indy in 1969 and kind of shook up the establishment because you polished your wheels and your floor was clean every night, and you guys all wore shirts, you kind of changed the face of open wheel racing.
Well, they called us the college boys with the crew haircuts and polished wheels, but so far it's worked.
So Keselowski gives you full course yellow. That's rather good for Will Power. Keselowski gives you your 500th win. But let's talk about Clive Howe, your team manager since 1979, who's retiring.
Well, Clive has been with us almost 40 years now, started over at Penske Cars and going to retire this weekend. So it's a great win for him. But again, Robin, I can't thank everybody in the networks and all the people that work for us, because it's a goal that I never thought I could achieve. Never even thought about it when we started. But again, great drivers and great people. Thank you very much.
Restart zone is much easier, so the green is out now, and then get ugly.
Hold on. Jordan King on the inside there. One of the Harding cars. James Hinchcliffe is in the mix. Carlos Munoz gets turned around. As soon as the green flies and the leader is in that restart zone, racing begins. So all of those passes were legit. They were fine. They were within the rules, but it was quite chaotic.
Look in front of Rossi. It's super chaotic. Rossi sees tire smoke, trying to avoid any more contact in this race. He's all over the back of Veach. I wonder how long Veach will go before he lets Rossi by.
Hunter-Reay took off on that restart, ran way wide, but look at Dixon. He's got a run on him. Dixon now pushing the issue with Ryan Hunter-Reay.
I don't know how you feel at home. Which one do you look at? Where do you look? Do you look at Dixon trying to challenge Ryan Hunter-Reay, or the scramble for Alexander Rossi?
Here comes Rossi again, squaring up the exit of the carousel like he's done all day with a great run on Pato O'Ward. He'll look to try to outbrake the rookie, but I don't know if O'Ward will let him go. O'Ward has the advantage on the inside. No, there goes Rossi.
Think about what he told us, Pato O'Ward, earlier today. He said, I just want to go out there and finish my first IndyCar race. I do not want to get in the way of Alexander Rossi or Scott Dixon.
Rossi's making a move on King. No, that's his teammate. His teammate lets him slide through. So that's teamwork right there by both the Pato O'Ward and Veach to let him through.
Valuable moves from Rossi. Guys, he's up to 14th on that restart. Very smart that he took the red tires for this short stint.
And only 8.8 seconds behind.
Next guy in front of him is King. King has already given him a bump and run, so I don't think he's going to play ball.
Yet to be determined if we'll see Jordan King back in the Ed Carpenter Racing Fuzzy's Chevrolet next year. His teammate, who incidentally is out of this race, Spencer Pigot, has been confirmed for 2019.
Rossi looking very fast here on these opening laps. After the restart, look at him, Paul, getting great exit. I think he's got to be patient, though.
That's
be patient. No, he goes for it.
He's not being patient. There's a championship on the line.
Oh man, I thought he'd wait for that carousel exit, but he doesn't have time to waste, taking everything he can.
By the way, with Spencer Pigot being the third retirement in this race, mathematically, the two Penskes, Will Power and Joseph Newgarden, are eliminated as Zach Veach goes dirt tracking.
Santino Ferrucci.
Fittipaldi on the inside of Kanaan. They come out side by side. Rossi now in the picture.
Right behind Newgarden. So Rossi and Newgarden. Look at Newgarden with a run on Hinch there. Newgarden in the silver car. Hinch in the black and gold car. Rossi now has closed that gap. If Rossi can get through these next 4 or 5 cars, there's a chance.
He'll try here. He'll try here. No, Newgarden's going to make it tough for him. Oh, no, he's not.
He's going in.
Whoa!
Contact.
See you later. He is on a mission, Alexander Rossi.
I think Rossi should pit now. He's in this little traffic. Let's see if he decides to take pit lane here. Does he gamble? There it is.
Well, the question now, if a yellow comes out, and he's the first to pit, he is in the driver's seat.
And he's got primary blacks available left, and that's actually the tire that he prefers, so it's the preference for the final stint. He's just inside the window. He can go relatively hard, maybe just a tiny bit of fuel save the rest of the way. And as you guys have called it, if the yellow comes out before everyone else goes in, he then can move and cycle to the front. Final stop, is it a good one? Yes, it is. They told him to push. He's got to beat everybody and get as much track position as he can going back up the hill.
Got his teammate coming up the hill right at him here, side by side, coming up the hill.
Not technically his teammate, but sort of the junior teammate. That's Colton Herta, and Colton Herta really helping Rossi there by not making a charge. That allows Rossi to have clear track ahead on this outlap. That's going to be critical to jump Bourdais and potentially Marco Andretti with the undercut on the stop. And as you said, Paul, if a yellow comes out right now, advantage Rossi.
Yeah, absolutely. If guys start pitting now and lose it on cold tires or have an accident, or God forbid somebody's battery dies and the guy rolls to a stop, as we see Dixon now, he's not taking a chance. He's coming in. He's playing off of Rossi.
Smart way to play it.
Absolutely.
Smart way to play it. You always counter your nearest rival, your closest rival. Good work from Chip Ganassi, and Jan's there.
And yes, just as you suspected, this is an insurance stop. When you see Alexander Rossi, that left Scott Dixon exposed to a caution. This is a very quick stop at 6.5 seconds. And again, you have to cover your rival just in case, because if a yellow came, they would have been in a world of hurt.
That is a big sigh of relief, I think, for Chip Ganassi and that team to just have everything go right on the last stop.
And here's a guy that needs another clean stop. Remember, the first pit stop of the day was a disaster for him. You see him going to sticker reds with a big wing adjustment for this final stint, Lee.
There goes Joseph Newgarden. So, 25 laps left in this 2018 championship. How will it play out? For this man here last year, he had a shot at beating his teammate Simon Pagenaud, who's on screen appropriately right now. He didn't have to beat him for the race to win the title. It was a thrilling end to last year's Grand Prix of Sonoma. And we're going to find out in 25 laps time how this one's going to play out.
Well, they're not diving in. Power runs way wide of the apex there, chasing after his teammate. Hunter Ray still on track. Pagenaud Power, second and third. Marco in fourth.
At his age, 18 years in this sport, he's still at the top of his game in every measurable category with no signs of slowing down anytime soon.
So the principle of Pit Fit in Indianapolis, Jim Leo, do you remember what Scott and he did last year in the off-season to help raise money for a charity? They got on an ergo, you know, the stationary rower inside the gym, and just for fun and for charity and to raise money, they rode 25 miles each.
You know what Paul and I did over the offseason?
Went to dinner.
Nachos and some sand buggies.
Well, we got a current bet that I'm hopefully going to win, and I get to use your yacht for a week. So we're going to find out this week whether I win the bet or not.
All right, well, back.
Here's that lap traffic. We're coming up on 1 to go. So if I was Hunter Ray with the gap he has now, I wouldn't even try to fight with these guys. Just ride behind the back.
One more lap of Sonoma Raceway. Just under 2.5 miles to complete the 2018 Verizon IndyCar Series season. One that has been memorable for so many reasons. in particular this man. Scott Dixon, who has led for the last 8 races, 8 rounds in a row. He's had 0 DNFs this season.
About 6 corners to go, and I'm sure Scott Dixon's looking in his mirror at a fiery Will Power thinking, don't you dare get anywhere near the back of my car.
Portland 2 weeks ago, major off in the second corner. He was in the dirt. That was the championship winning drive of the year, I feel, that really saved this championship for him. And today he's just kind of been in the driver's seat and controlled his own destiny and done what he's needed to do to win this championship.
So Ryan Hunter-Reay is on target to win the race. Scott Dixon is on the verge of something truly special and significant. This real family man, father of 2 girls, is in his 304th race today. But something that hasn't been done in 51 years since AJ Foyt did it, Scott Dixon is about to become a 5-time champion. Credit where credit's due. Ryan Hunter-Reay wins the Grand Prix of Sonoma, but we witness something that hasn't been done in more than half a century. Scott Dixon is a 5-time IndyCar champion.
All right, let's get a look at the 5-time champion. It took 51 years, but Scott Dixon brings the championship here at Sonoma. Scott, of course, he wants to congratulate the team. Scott, Barry Wands are there. Tell you what, we'll swing around and get him as he congratulates the crew, gets the hug from Mike Hull, who called some pretty awesome strategy through each of these championships. All right, Scott. What a day. Getting congratulations from Honda as well. There's a manufacturer's championship. There's 5 for you. How do you react when you knew that you're now in rarefied air with only AJ Foyt for this number of championships? When you started your career, did you have a thought that could ever be possible?
No, but it's all about the people, you know, and I'm the lucky one that gets to take it across the line. But you know, I can't thank Emma enough, my wife. She's just been so amazing through this whole season. It's actually the anniversary of her father's passing today, so it's obviously an emotional time for her and her family. But you know, I can't thank enough everybody, the team, my teammates, everybody involved. This doesn't come, you know, without a lot of hard work, and you know, we had a lot of grit. We had a lot of things that could have gone wrong today, but huge thank you, obviously, for PNC coming on this year. Really stepped up the team. You know, Honda's been amazing. There's just so many people in NTT Data too, you know, our partners on this team. But my family, everybody at home, back in England, and especially my wife.
You say how emotional it was here, but it was very emotional 2 weeks ago also in Portland. When you drove into a dust storm and then realized that you could drive out, did you have maybe an idea this championship could be mine?
You know, I knew that day that we were going to be lucky coming out of that dust storm and that crash, you know, being hit a few times and being able to pull away. I knew that day was going to be good, but I was just hoping we hadn't used up everything before we got to the last race. But, you know, I got to thank, you know, the other teams too that we fought hard with, Penske and Andretti, throughout the season. Rossi did a hell of a job. You know, he's been pushing so hard this year and has a huge talent and one that's going to, you know, win many championships throughout his career. I'm just stoked for everybody. For Chip, this was mega, man. It's mega. 12th, they're 12th, IndyCar.
And you mentioned Alexander Rossi. You knew that he ran into trouble on lap number 1, but then when that caution came out, you knew he was on a tear. That put the pressure back on you again?
Yeah, a little bit. We were just, you know, making sure we didn't get ourselves into a segment, you know, an awkward place, you know, throughout the race that they could capitalize on, and for them to almost go down, you know, a lap, you know, was kind of helping too. But you know, nobody's ever out, you know, until we got to the last stop and we were full to the end. Even then, you know, I could see him moving on the pylon through. But man, this is so awesome. I can't believe it. I can't believe that's actually happened. I don't know. You always doubt these situations so much that it's never going to happen, and I can't thank everybody enough for this. It's so cool.